Hello, excuse the poor mic quality. Today I would like to show you my Mjolnir Titan in Dawn of the Hunt. This is not a build guide or an optimized build. However, this is what I have produced, and the purpose of this video is to be a reference point for myself in the future to look back and see what I was doing during Dawn of the Hunt and see if I've kind of improved or not as a Path of Exile player. This build is relatively simple, and if you would like to construct something like this, I recommend you find another video. Dead Rabbit has a similar build, and that would be a more clear and understandable video to replicate something like this. This is a very high attack speed, very low skill effect duration Earthquake using Rolling Slam as our single target. This is actually such a low skill effect duration, high attack speed variant that it kind of bricks my game. So much so that in T16s, you will essentially full freeze a game multiple times, sometimes crashing, completely crashing, and this is with a extremely high NPC. Um, but for not super juiced triple tower stack, quad tower stack maps, you can get through no problem, and it is phenomenal, very very fun, and is easily my favorite build I have ever made. So, without further ado, let's get into the actual gear itself. A goal of mine for Dawn of the Hunt was to craft all my own shit. Um, Now, even though some of these items I did not fully craft, I at least purchased them and refined them further to their current state or Valorbed them myself. So let me show you around. First, with our gloves, we have 100% increased effective socket with melee skill, triple lines of attack, and some cold res. Our ring is 4 lines of attack, int and rarity. Int is obviously very important when paired with Mjolnir. Our other ring is triple attack with triple res. Very, very nice. Our necklace could use some work. I needed very specific stats on this guy, and at the time the market was not very saturated. I tried to craft and refine items, and I just kept getting bit in the ass to where I got quite sick of it. So I settled with this guy, but there is a lot of room for improvements here. Our helmet is pretty simple, a deepest tower, dual socket, nothing too fancy. You could get more optimized here. I did have spirit, but I didn't really care, so I just sold it. Our chest is also relatively simple, using triple T1 on the reses with triple T2 up top. It gets the job done. I opted for this base because movement speed is fun, and I like it. Speaking of movement speed, 55% increased movement speed on the boots with two T1 reses. Not bad. I have owned and crafted better pairs of boots, but I opted to sell them because I wanted the cash flow. This definitely gets the job done and is good enough for me. Headhunter is overcorrupted on the strength, a mid-roll dex, low roll max life with 3 charm slots. That's fine for me. Strength is obviously pretty important. Dex, eh, reasonably important. Um, so nothing too fancy. You could get a shinier, flashier headhunter. Charms are really, really cool. Spirit of the Owl is phenomenal. Fall of the Axe is really, really nice, and Thawing Charm is pretty cool. Whatever. We do use the fancy flask and a kind of whatever flask. This is definitely my favorite item in the game and very critical for this build. This is a 13% skill effect duration, reduced skill effect duration Palm of the Dreamer. An incredible item, probably my favorite item in the entire game, at least offensively, and kind of makes this build really shine and gives a ridiculous amount of ad clear. Like you can't really get with anything else. Maybe Trample Toe would be second, but you lose so much movement speed that I just can't do it. So this guy is build enabling and really brings this whole thing together. Adore it. This is my Mjolnir, which is really pretty fucking cool. Plus 4 lightning, 19 increased attack speed. Damn, I wish that was 20. 350 increased fizz damage. That is perfect. And we do have a dual socket. Pretty nice. Um, this is where we could get a bit more progress. This is a placeholder item. This is not something I use. But if you wanted to, you could weapon set 2, or I guess 1 in this instance, for your rolling slam with a, forgive me, what's the name of this thing? The Giant's Blood. Yeah. You could Giant's Blood and run two hands if you wanted, or run some really fancy two hand to get a bit more DPS on the Rolling Slam. If you wanted to be a real cool guy smoking T4 whatever's. But for me, this right here can kill a T4 Zesht just fine, and that's really all I need. Don't really care too much to bring it to that nth degree, especially when in its current condition it can get the job done just fine. And I don't ever really run bosses ever, so don't mind it. Now, I would like to show you the passive tree and skill gems really, really quickly. There is a ton of room for improvement here, and we are missing, well, sort of missing an item. Um, So let me show you the passive tree really quick. Of course, we come out here and we grab our reduced skill effect duration. We grab some little doodads. Nothing too fancy here. The real cool guy stuff, we do have a from nothing that allows us to grab these low life nodes. And we do come over and grab the rest of the low life nodes. We grab a little bit of presence area of effect, which kind of counters our deepest tower. A little bit of movement speed, a little bit of attributes, nothing crazy. Our gems are pretty cool. Corrupted for attributes, rage, not bad. And then this guy is also corrupted for attributes, more rage, not bad. Um, Furthermore, we grab a control metamorphosis. This is pretty unnecessary, honestly, but I think it's cool. I don't know. Even if it's not optimal, I like it because it's kind of interesting. It's quirky. This is a -6, -5, medium small, which allows us to grab +1 max res and 5 all res. And we grab our attack nodes here. We do miss out on the rest of the attack nodes, but whatever. We grab 40% increased melee damage at close range, and we grab increase AoE over yonder, which is really, really cool for Earthquake, naturally. Further down the line, we do have a Megalomaniac, which has Blinding Strike and Thrill of the Battle. Pretty neat because, where is this guy? Thrill of the Battle gives 20 increased attack speed while surrounded, which really, really, really shows up. And we'll grab this guy too while we're at it. Acceleration, this is our anointment on our necklace, 3% movement speed, 10 skill. We do grab Blinding Strike, which is 24 attack damage and chance to blind on hit, which is pretty cool. Nothing too flashy. Up top, this is not optimized, but I just grabbed all of these ES nodes, and I grabbed these ES nodes. The int is nice, and this is pretty important, grabbing the reduced skill effect duration. Um, but I'm sure if you really wanted to, you could think about this a little bit better than I have and come up with something a bit better, especially in this region. There's probably some optimization. I know it's quite common to come down here and grab all of these, and I also don't do weapon set 1 and 2 because I don't use weapon set 1 and 2 because I'm lazy. Um, our ascendancy, pretty self-explanatory. We do grab the chest, which is nice. Small passive, of course, obviously. Every second slam is ancestral boosted, and 25% slams do cause aftershock. We do tons of slam, so yeah, pretty nice. This right here, let me show you. Actually, I still have it, and I should have put it on. Forgive me. A +3 rolling slam. At the moment, I'm trying to sell it because I don't really care that much, as rolling slam is for single target, and I don't really need it, if you will. Even without it, I can do T4 Zesh. With it, it's quite nice. In the demo videos, I will equip it, so just take note of that. But pretend it's right there, okay? And support gems, there is a ton of room for improvement here for sure, but this gets the job done. This is what I've made. On our Mjolnir, we're doing Ball Lightning and Lightning Warp with Energy Retention and Impetus. I opt for Ball Lightning instead of 2 Lightning Warps because it allows me to just have a crazy, it just looks crazy. Honestly, it looks crazy, it's fun, you kind of teleport all over the place, it's flashy, and that's kind of what I enjoy with these builds, is something that gets your neurons stimulated, if you will. Moving down our Earthquake, we're running fast forward, and Swift Affliction. This is going to reduce the amount of time between the actual slam to the ground to where the jagged ground shit comes out of the ground. That's what we're trying to reduce with reduced skill effect duration. As you look, although it's quite quick, I go bunk boom. You hear that? Bunk boom, right? I want that boom to come faster. So that's the reduced skill effect duration from these two. We have AoE and AoE, and we have attack speed. Pretty self-explanatory. Rolling Slam, execute for obviously pairing with our deepest tower. Concentrate effect, more damage. Heft, more damage. Reverberate is for our aftershocks, which in turn means more damage. And Ambrosia consumes our mana flask to do more damage, extra lightning damage, which is why, if we take a quick peek, we do have increased charges to get more consumed, if you will, right? Pretty easy, nothing too crazy. Infernal Cry. This is pretty self-explanatory. We generate rage when we use it. We consume the rage to do more damage on the empowered attack. The empowered attack does 15% more damage, and the attack in question is usually Rolling Slam. So you walk up to a boss, you Infernal Cry, get Rage, consume Rage, 30% more damage, 15% more damage, which applies to the Rolling Slime. Second wind, so it comes off cooldown more often, so you can kind of spam it if you will. And when we use it, um, we deal 25% of our strength as fizz damage per second, which is convenient because we have a lot of strength with this build, which we'll take a quick look at later. Armor breaker, pretty easy. When we fully break armor, we daze. We daze equal to 100% of fizz damage, so good amount of CC, if you will. 50% more armor break. Armor break equal 15% of fizz damage dealt. And when we fully armor break, we heavy stun. So essentially right here, all we're doing is getting more armor break, and when we do armor break, they get stunned. Pretty convenient. Blink, you could backbar Blink or weapon set 2, whatever, Blink if you wanted, but I'm lazy and I don't do that. So I just keep it on all the time. Ingenuity, so it comes off cooldown more often, and Unbreakable, so I don't get bullshit gimmick killed using it. Wind Dancer is pretty nice for survivability, giving us a nice amount of evasion. We blind enemies when it triggers. Oy, that's loud. Herbalism, which gives us increased life from flask, increased recovery from life flasks. Let's get this guy in here. While the skill is active, so whatever. I just had some extra spirit and threw that in there. Not that big of a deal. Solar Orb, honestly, completely useless. I just copied this off of, I believe, Dead Rabbit's build. But can you discount to 29? Yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah, sure. I can discount one Divine, bro. No problem. Sure, dude. For bossing, you would in theory do Solar Orb, but I don't because clearly that doesn't do fucking anything at all. You would walk up and go, you would do this, and then you would do that, and they would die. And if you needed to, you would kind of do that a couple times, maybe hit another one of these, and it's fine. Um, that's the gameplay loop. Our character screen, I'll show you 77, 77, 77, and 60 on the Chaos. We got 36 evasion with our Wind Dancer spooled up. We got 355 strength, which is kind of cool. A little bit of energy shield, a little bit of life. This is plenty fine. You're not ultra tanky, but you don't need to be. Honestly, you really don't need to be, especially paired with this flask. Um, Getting that overguard, if for any reason you did actually take damage somehow magically, you just pop that and you're fine. So now I'll show you a quick mapping demo and little bossing demo, and see what it's all about. See if you like it. Thanks for watching, and I'll touch back with you at the end and go over a couple other little details not pertaining to this build, but more pertaining to Path of Exile as a whole.